Last week, we watched Mansa Musa transform the economy of Egypt without ever intending to. We watched him give away mountains of gold. We watched the price of gold itself collapse under the weight of his generosity. But Cairo was never his final destination. It was only a stop along the way, because Mansa Musa had not traveled 6,000 miles for wealth. He had not traveled 6,000 miles for power. He had traveled 6,000 miles for something far more important than either: faith. After 3 months in Cairo, the procession moved on, east, across the Arabian Peninsula, through landscapes unlike anything his people had ever seen. Mountains of red rock, endless stretches of desert. The air growing hotter, the anticipation growing with every single mile. Because somewhere ahead of them, waiting at the center of the Islamic world, was the holiest city on earth, Mecca. When the procession finally crested the final ridge and saw the city below them, even the wealthiest man alive felt something that gold could never buy: reverence. And here is where the story takes a turn that reveals everything about who Mansa Musa truly was. Because in Cairo, he'd been a king, robes of white and gold, a crown upon his head, 60,000 people following his every command. But as he approached Mecca, Mansa Musa removed his crown. He removed his royal robes. He removed every symbol of wealth and power that had defined his entire life. And he put on simple white cloth, the same plain white garments worn by the poorest pilgrim walking beside him. This is called Ihram, and it is perhaps the most powerful tradition in all of Islam, because in Ihram, there is no king, there is no beggar, there is no rich man, there is no poor man. There is only a believer before God. The richest man who would ever live walked toward the Kaaba, indistinguishable from anyone else in that vast sea of white robes. Thousands upon thousands of pilgrims circling the ancient black stone cube at the center of the mosque. This ritual is called tawaf, walking in unison, moving as one body, praying as one voice. And somewhere within that ocean of humanity, the man who controlled more gold than any human being in recorded history was simply one more soul-seeking God. He prayed there. He gave thanks for the journey. He asked forgiveness, as every pilgrim does. And in that moment, all the gold in his treasury meant absolutely nothing. But Mecca was not just a place of prayer for Mansa Musa. It was also a meeting of minds, because gathered in this holy city, drawn from every corner of the Islamic world, were some of the greatest scholars, architects, and poets of the medieval age. And among them was a man who would change the history of West Africa forever. His name was Abu Ishaq al-Sahili, an Andalusian poet and architect of extraordinary talent. Born in Granada, trained in the finest architectural traditions of Islamic Spain. Mansa Musa sat with him, talked with him, listened to his ideas about architecture, about learning, about what a great Islamic civilization could look like. And Musa made him an offer: 200 kilograms of pure gold, simply to return with him to Mali. Al-Sahili accepted, because Mansa Musa was not just bringing home a brilliant architect. He was bringing home a vision of mosques that would rival anything in Cairo or Mecca, a vision of libraries that would house hundreds of thousands of manuscripts, a vision of a university that would draw scholars from across the Islamic world to West Africa. After weeks in the holy city, praying, learning, planning, it was time to return home. The procession that departed Mecca was different from the one that had arrived. Smaller in number, Some pilgrims remained behind, but richer in purpose. Because Mansa Musa was no longer traveling simply as a king returning to his throne. He was traveling as a man with a mission to take everything he had learned, every architect, every scholar, every idea, and build something that the world had never seen. A golden age, not of gold itself, but of knowledge. Next week, we follow Mansa Musa home to Mali and witness the birth of one of the greatest centers of learning the medieval world would ever know. Subscribe to the African Codex, because the most important chapter of this story is still to come.